Mr. Cuellar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to echo what Chairman Rogers said, Mr. Director, on the issue with Peru. There is an issue, and even the Peruvians say that outside of Washington, they're the biggest printing press in the whole world. Why Peru? We don't know, but I think just having one Secret Service, and he's doing a great job, by the way, and under the circumstances. So I would echo Chairman Rogers that y'all put a little bit more resources on that, because even though I think you said you got $10 million, that's probably just a drop in the bucket as to what they're doing. So I would ask you to, following Chairman Rogers, ask you to follow up on that and just keep our office posted on that. Second of all, Director, what are y'all doing to combat transnational organized crime that targets citizens and financial institutions in the U.S.? I do have a press release which y'all did in San Antonio. I think it was in January, where you did this San Antonio Electronic Crime Task Force, and you brought people together, and I want to thank you. This is very, very good. I would encourage you to set up something, if you can talk to your folks, do something on the border also, and be happy to bring you down to Laredo and work with your folks, and I'll be happy to put folks from the border law enforcement, state, local folks, academicians, whoever y'all might need, the private sector to sit down. So I would ask you to, if you would do this on the border. Everybody talks about the border. But when they do events, they usually do them 150 miles away, and I do represent San Antonio. I love San Antonio. But if we're going to talk about border, I would ask you to have your folks come down to the border. We'll be happy to set that up for you. Okay. The other question I have, whatever happened to we talked about this a lot, the White House mock-up, what was it, $15 million? How is that coming along?
Well, we are committed to this White House mock-up or a building defense. We are in the process now working out a master plan for our RTC, our Rally Training Center out in Beltsville, Maryland, and we have to submit this master plan to the National Capital Planning Commission to get approval for what we want to do. We are definitely committed to this mock White House. We had an initial design that came back to us. We're going back to reevaluate that design to see where we are with that, but we have full intention of implementing that.
What is your, I think last year we talked about 15 million, if I'm going by memory. What is your, I hope that it hasn't gone up, because as Chairman Carter says, you know, we got to work with a tight budget. My experience dealing with the federal government is you start out with a number, and then before you know it, it explodes. So has that gone up, and from what amount to what amount?
I'm not prepared to say what the amount would be, but I will say that I know the initial design came back, which was a little bit more elaborate than what we really had expected, and the cost was going to be higher. So we've gone back to the drawing board in that regard.
Will you keep certainly Chairman Carter and the members of the committee, the ranking member also, and myself, what the cost is, because we want to be supportive. But again, my experience has been is you start off with an initial number, and I assume the number they gave you went up and not down.
Yes.
So I would ask you to just keep us informed, because I originally thought the original amount was a lot.
Yes.
But again, I understand the purpose and the rationale, but I'm interested in you keeping the cost as close as possible to the amount.
Yes, Congressman. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And again, the culture issues that were brought up last time you were here, I know there's still some incidents, but I do have to say you're doing a good job, and I appreciate your good service.
Thank you, sir.